Hello, this is Inner Astrology.
It's good to be here.
We are going to take a slightly different pace today.
Mm-hmm.
Usually on this show, we are sprinting. I mean, we are absolutely sprinting through data, trying to get you, the listener, the most efficient, rapid-fire download of information possible.
Right. Checking boxes, connecting dots, high speed.
Exactly. But today, the source material you've brought to the table, well, it requires us to slow down. It asks us, quite literally, to take a breath.
It does. And that is very much by design.
The promise of this material is bold, and frankly, it's a little unusual for the type of research we usually cover.
It is.
It claims it's designed to be comfortable, reflective, and if we do our job right today, it should lower your blood pressure while simultaneously raising your awareness.
That is a very specific and I think very appealing combination for the modern world.
Right.
Low pressure, high awareness. Usually we think those two are inversely correlated. We think that to be highly aware, to be on it, we have to be high-strung, anxious, and, vibrating with caffeine.
Yes, exactly. We operate under the assumption that stress is the fuel for awareness. But this starts with a mystery that haunts a lot of us. It certainly haunts me.
And what's that?
It's the mystery of the burnout paradox.
The burnout paradox.
Yeah.
Let's sit with that phrase for a moment.
We look around our lives or our offices or even our friend groups and we see intelligent, sincere, incredibly hardworking people who are just stuck.
We're exhausted.
Completely exhausted. They're doing everything right by the standard societal playbook. They have the degrees, they put in the hours, they have the work ethic, but they are drained. They are running on fumes.
And then you see the other side of it.
You do. Every once in a while, you see someone where things just seem to click. They don't seem to be straining as hard. They aren't sweating as much, yet the door's open. The promotions happen.
The connections form. The opportunities just sort of land in their lap.
It's the age-old question of effort versus result, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is the correlation so weak sometimes? Why does maximum effort sometimes yield zero results, while moderate effort elsewhere yields massive returns?
Exactly. And the societal narrative, the one we've all been fed since kindergarten, is that the only variable that matters is effort.
The equation is supposed to be simple. Effort equals success.
And if you aren't succeeding, the only variable you're allowed to tweak is work harder. If you're burnt out, improve yourself. Fix your flaws. Wake up at 4 a.m.
Ice bath, journal, become more confident. It's this endless self-optimization project.
Which is an incredibly heavy burden to carry. Because think about the implication of that narrative.
What's the implication?
It implies that if things aren't working, the fault lies entirely within your internal machinery. It says, you are broken. Fix yourself, and then the world will respond.
So it internalizes structural failure as personal failure.
It's almost a moral judgment. If you're failing, you aren't trying hard enough or you aren't good enough.
Yeah.
But our source material today throws a massive wrench in that engine.
It suggests a complete contradiction.
It does. It says, if effort alone created success, burnout wouldn't be so common among capable people.
That is the key phrase, among capable people.
Yes. We aren't talking about people who don't want to work. We aren't talking about people who are checking out. We're talking about the high achievers, the people who care the most.
So the premise we're diving into is that people aren't failing because of a lack of skill. They aren't failing because they are lazy. They are struggling because they are quite literally standing in the wrong place.
Standing in the wrong place. That is such a powerful visual to start with.
It really is.
It shifts the problem from a deficit of character to a problem of positioning. It suggests that success is more like physics or architecture than it is like morality.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The source material brings us to a specific and often misunderstood concept in astrology. Now, I want to pause here for the listener who might be skeptical, or the listener who thinks astrology is just about checking your horoscope to see if you're going to win the lottery today or meet a tall, dark stranger.
Right, the pop culture version.
The source makes a bold claim. This isn't about predicting the future. It's about analyzing positioning and friction. And the focal point is the ascendant, or the rising sign.
That's right. And to really get what the source is arguing, we have to strip away the pop culture idea of the rising sign. We aren't talking about, oh, you act like a Leo at parties. We aren't talking about memes.
We're talking about something deeper.
We are talking about social physics. The big idea here is that success becomes significantly easier when you stop fighting your ascendant. The text describes the ascendant as the interface through which you meet the world.
An interface, like a user interface on a computer or smartphone.
Precisely. Think about it this way. You have a computer. Deep inside the tower, you have the hard drive. That's where your data is, your memories, your core operating system, your genius, your complex code.
Okay.
But how do you, the user, interact with that data? You use a screen, you use a keyboard, you use a mouse or a trackpad. That is the interface.
Okay, I follow. The interface is the point of contact.
Exactly. The Ascendant is the screen and the keyboard. It is the mechanism of interaction. It's not the hard drive. The hard drive's deep inside.
Yeah.
But if the interface is broken, or, and this is the crucial part, if you're trying to use a touch screen like it's a physical keyboard, banging on the glass,
Right.
it doesn't matter how fast the processor is inside.
Yeah.
The input won't register. The computer won't do what you want it to do.
So if we're looking at burnout not as running out of gas, but as using the wrong interface, that changes everything.
It does.
It changes the solution from refuel to recalibrate. Let's start by really defining what this ascendant is, according to the text, because I think a lot of people confuse it with their true self. They think my sign is who I am.
That is the most common misconception. The source is very clear on what the Ascendant is not.
Okay.
It is not your inner self. It is not your private truth. It is not your deep-seated emotions or your subconscious drives. That is usually the domain of the fun of the moon. The Ascendant is external.
Okay, play devil's advocate here. If it's not who I am deep down, isn't it just a mask? Isn't it fake? Because we live in this culture of authenticity. We're told to be real, to be vulnerable, to show our true colors. If the Ascendant is just an interface, isn't that being inauthentic?
That's the immediate reaction, isn't it? If it's not me, it must be a lie.
Yeah.
But the source uses a brilliant metaphor to dismantle that binary thinking.
Okay.
It uses the metaphor of the house, specifically the difference between the doorway and the room.
I loved this analogy. It really clicked for me because it takes the morality out of it. Walk us through it.
Imagine you, your total self, your psyche, your soul, are a house. Your sun sign, your core identity, your ego, your conscious self. That is who you are inside the room.
Okay.
That's the person sitting on the couch, the layout of the furniture, the art of the walls, the warmth of the fireplace, the vibe of the interior. That is the destination. That's where the intimacy happens. That is where you hang out with your best friends.
Okay. So the sun is the living room. It's the destination.
Right. But the Ascendant is the front door. It's the porch. It's the entryway. It's the architectural style of the facade. It is the thing people see from the street before they are invited in.
So it's how people get in. It's the mechanism of access.
Exactly. It is how people initially read you.
Yeah.
It is the role that is projected onto you before you even open your mouth. It is the energy the world expects from you to open the door.
Okay.
The source makes a fascinating point here. If you knock on the door the wrong way, it doesn't matter how valuable you are inside the room.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if you have the cure for cancer or the funniest jokes or the kindest heart sitting on the couch. If the door stays locked, no one sees it.
That is actually kind of terrifying, but also relieving.
So,
Because it explains that feeling of being full of potential, but feeling like the world is just ignoring you, like you're screaming behind soundproof glass.
yes.
You know you have value inside, in the room, but people are just walking past the house.
It explains the disconnect. It's a mechanism of entry. The text describes it as a meeting point. It's where life meets you. And here's where it gets really interesting for the skeptics or the pragmatists.
Oh.
The expert in the text emphasizes that this mechanism works regardless of belief.
I caught that. It said the Ascendant works even when you don't believe in it.
Right. Because we are talking about social signaling and energetic archetypes. Even if you reject astrology entirely, you are still living through a physical body and a social persona. You have an interface.
You're sending signals no matter what.
People are reacting to something when you walk into a room. You are sending signals through your posture, your initial tone, your cadence. You're sending signals. Understanding the Ascendant just reveals the mechanism of those signals. The mechanism is operating whether you read the manual or not.
So we are essentially reading the manual for our own front door.
Exactly. And most of us are trying to climb in through the window or break down the back wall or, and this is the most common one, we're standing at our own front door screaming, "I'm not a door, I'm a living room. Look at my couch, look at my pillows." Laughing slightly. Oh, that's a perfect image. And the world is just standing there confused, looking at the door handle, waiting for us to just turn the knob.
I'm not a door, I'm a living room.
That captures the frustration perfectly. We want to be seen for our depth immediately. We feel insulted that we have to go through the shallow end to get to the deep end.
But the architecture doesn't work that way.
This leads us directly into the next major section of the source material, the mechanics of burnout. Because if we are mishandling the door, that creates heat, that creates friction.
Yes. Redefining burnout is central to this argument. Usually when we say I'm burnt out, we treat it as a resource problem.
Right. I'm out of energy?
I am out of energy tokens.
Yeah.
I have spent too many calories. I need to sleep. I need a vacation. I need to work fewer hours. Rest more. That's the standard advice. Go to a spa, turn off your phone, disconnect.
But have you ever noticed, and be honest, that you can go on vacation for a week, sleep 10 hours a night, sit by a pool, drink coconut water, and come back to work on Monday morning and feel drained within 10 minutes?
Oh, absolutely. It's the Sunday scaries. It's that sinking feeling that the rest didn't actually stick.
Yes.
It's like charging a battery that immediately discharges the second you unplug it.
The source argues that this happens because burnout is often a positional problem, not an energy problem. It's a friction problem.
A friction problem.
Friction happens when two surfaces rub against each other that aren't meant to. When your expression, how you act, doesn't match your ascendant role, every interaction requires a micro-adjustment.
Let's drill down on this micro-adjustment. What does that look like in a real conversation? Because I think we feel it, but we don't name it.
It's subtle. It's having to explain your joke because it didn't land right. It's having to apologize for your tone when you didn't mean to be aggressive, but people took it that way. It's feeling a subtle resistance or confusion from the person you're talking to. A furrowed brow, a pause, so you have to rephrase, you have to backpedal. It's self-editing in real time. It's thinking, wait, should I have said that?
It's all that extra work happening under the surface.
Yes. The text says, rest doesn't remove friction. Alignment does. If you are constantly forcing a square peg into a round hole, taking a nap doesn't make the hole square. You wake up and you're still pushing. That constant pushing is emotional fatigue.
It's like driving with the handbrake on. You can push the gas as hard as you want. That's the effort.
Right.
But you're just generating heat and smoke, which is the burnout, instead of forward motion.
Exactly. And this connects to that phenomenon of invisible work.
The complaint of, I work so hard, but no one notices. Or, I'm doing everything right. Why am I invisible?
That is a heartbreaking realization for many people. You are putting in the effort. You are doing the reps. But the return on investment is zero.
And the source analyzes this as a symptom of misalignment.
Yes. When you approach society through the wrong ascendant expression, people can't place you.
They can't categorize you. What do you mean by that?
Well, humans are pattern recognition machines. We are tribal animals. We want to know, is this person a leader, a helper, a disruptor, a stabilizer?
I see.
We need to know where you fit in the tribe so we know how to interact with you. We need to know what role you are playing. If your ascendant is signaling disruptor, but you're acting like a stabilizer, the signal is garbled.
So the message gets confused.
Your effort feels confusing to others rather than impressive.
So instead of thinking, wow, look at that great work, they're thinking, wait, what is he doing? Why is he acting like that?
Exactly. And then what do we do when we feel that confusion coming from them?
We try harder.
We over-explain, we talk more, we write longer emails, we apologize, we start questioning our value.
You think, maybe I'm just not good enough.
But the source is shouting, no. You are standing in the wrong place. You are knocking on the door with your elbows instead of turning the key.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense. But I think we need to ground this. We need to see what this actually looks like in practice. Because abstractly, this is all great doors, friction, alignment. But practically, how do you know if you're doing it? The source provides a really specific case study that I found incredibly helpful.
The Virgo versus Sagittarius rising.
Yes.
This is a great comparison because these are two very different energies. But let's set the control group first. Let's say on paper, these two people could have the exact same job, the exact same IQ, and the exact same inner desire to do good work.
Okay.
Let's say they are both data analysts. They are both thoughtful, analytical, smart people inside the room in their sun signs or Mercury signs.
Okay, so inside the room, the sun, the Mercury, they are similar. They have the goods. They can both do the math. They both care about the data.
Right, but they have different doors. Let's look at the Virgo rising first. The ascendant of Virgo is about precision, service, refinement, analysis. It is an earthy, mutable, practical door. The world looks at a Virgo rising and instinctively expects them to fix the details.
So they look like someone who knows where the typo is.
Exactly. They just have that vibe. So how do they gain trust in a meeting?
Ow!
They gain trust by analyzing details, by improving systems, by quietly refining things. When a Virgo rising points out a flaw in a spreadsheet, everyone sighs in relief.
Oh, okay.
They say, thank you, we needed that, good catch. They don't seem nitpicky. They seem helpful. The door opens. The world says, yes, please continue.
Okay, that's their entry point. Now let's look at the Sagittarius rising.
Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's ruled by Jupiter. It's about expansion, philosophy, the big picture, the horizon.
The professor, the explorer.
Yes. The world looks at a Sagittarius rising and expects them to inspire, to widen the scope, to bring meaning. They gain trust when they speak broadly and explore possibilities.
So here is the crossover failure. What happens if the Sagittarius rising person, who, remember, is smart and analytical inside, decides they need to act like the Virgo rising?
This is the tragedy. The Sagittarius rising walks into the meeting and thinks, I need to be professional. I need to be taken seriously. I don't want to seem like a loudmouth. I'm going to keep my head down and just focus on the typos in this document.
They try to be the good student, the quiet refiner.
And it flops.
But why? If the analysis is correct, why does it flop?
Because the energy doesn't match the frame. People look at the Sagittarius rising and they expect a spark. They expect vision. When that person starts nitpicking details, they don't look helpful like the Virgo rising. They look petty, or they look constrained, or they just feel invisible. The room goes cold, people start checking their phones. The Sagittarius rising person feels boxed in, they feel doubted, they feel restless.
And the internal monologue is, I guess I'm not good at analysis.
Exactly. They think, I'm not skilled. They didn't like my analysis. But the reality is they are skilled. The analysis was fine. But the world wasn't expecting that role from them first. It creates resistance.
Wow.
Now, imagine if that Sagittarius rising had walked in, shared a big vision for why the analysis matters. Hey guys, if we get these numbers right, we can expand into this new market. We can change the industry, opening the Sagittarius door.
And then presented the data.
Then they're in the room.
Yeah.
And once they're in the room, they can be as analytical as they want. But they have to use the right key to get in. They have to light the fire, the Sagittarius fire, before they serve the meal.
That distinction, what you do first versus what you do after, seems critical.
It's everything.
It's about the sequence of operations. It brings us to the next section, which I think is going to hit home for a lot of people. The trap of the sun sign.
This is the most common struggle. We are told to be ourselves. Be authentic. So we try to lead with our sun sign, which is our inner self.
We try to put the furniture on the front porch.
Exactly. We do.
Give us the soft sun, hard ascendant example. This one really clicked for me, especially for people who feel like they have to put on a tough face at work but feel like imposters doing it.
So imagine someone with a Pisces sun or a Cancer sun. These are water signs. They are sensitive, empathetic, intuitive, maybe a little soft in the beautiful sense of the word. They care deeply. Their inner room is a cozy, safe, emotional sanctuary.
But they have an Aries or Capricorn rising,
which are hard ascendants. Aries is a warrior. It's ruled by Mars. Capricorn is a CEO. It's ruled by Saturn. These are signs of structure, command, and defense.
So the world looks at them and sees armor.
Sees confidence, sees decisiveness.
So you have this person who looks like a general, the Aries rising, but feels like a poet, the Pisces sun.
Exactly. A general with the soul of a poet. That's a beautiful image. Now, the conflict happens when this person tries to lead with the poet.
Okay.
They walk into a high-stakes situation, a negotiation, a crisis meeting, and they try to be vulnerable, emotional, and open right away because they want to be authentic. They want to show they care.
Because that's who they are inside.
Right. But the world is looking at the general. When the general starts crying or asking for reassurance immediately, the world recoils.
It's confusing.
It violates the interface expectation. The world expects the Aries or Capricorn door to be decisive. It creates a sense of instability. The team gets nervous. Why is the general crying?
And so the person faces resistance. People don't trust them. And the person thinks,
What do they think?
I'm being misunderstood. I'm not allowed to be soft. The world is harsh. The corporate world destroys souls.
They feel like they have to wear a mask to survive.
Yeah.
I have to pretend to be tough. They feel like a sellout.
Yeah.
But the source offers a solution that isn't about pretending. It's about timing.
Timing. Break that down.
The problem isn't the softness. The problem is the entry point. You must enter through the ascendant.
Okay.
If you have Capricorn rising, you enter with competence. You enter with a plan. You show up on time and you look sturdy. You open the door. Once you are inside the room, once trust is established through that interface, once everyone feels safe because the general is in charge, then you can unleash the Pisces sensitivity. Then you can bring the empathy. Then you can say, I know this is hard for everyone, and I care about how you feel.
And paradoxically, once you've established that Capricorn competence, people will value the Pisces softness more.
Yes, because it's contextualized. Oh, this strong, capable leader also has a huge heart. Amazing. That's a superhero. That's a complete human being.
But if you lead with the bleeding heart, they never see the capability.
You just see the mess.
This reframes the whole idea of fakeness versus strategy. I think a lot of us feel guilty when we aren't bearing our souls immediately. We feel like we are being manipulative, like we are hiding.
It's not manipulation, it's language.
Yeah.
It's speaking the language that allows you to be heard. It's using the correct key for the lock. You wouldn't try to open your front door with a banana and then get mad that the door is rejecting your fruit. You use the key, then you eat the banana inside.
I love that. Don't open the door with a banana. Words to live by.
Laughing slightly. It's a bit absurd, but it fits. We are trying to use emotional tools for a structural problem.
So let's talk about that first trust. You mentioned earlier that trust is formed before logic, that we decide if we trust someone almost instantly.
It is. We like to think we judge people based on their resume or their arguments or their data. But psychological research and this astrological framework suggests we decide if we trust someone in milliseconds.
It's a lizard brain.
It's the lizard brain. Are they reliable? Are they confident? Are they safe? Do they fit the pattern I expect?
And the checklist for what makes this person trustworthy changes based on the ascendant.
Yes.
It's not a universal checklist. This was a big aha for me. Trust isn't one size fits all.
Correct. And this is where people get tripped up. They try to copy someone else's checklist. Oh, Steve acts like this, and people trust him, so I'll act like Steve. But Steve's a different sign.
Okay, give us some examples from the source. A Taurus rising.
What's their trust signal?
Steadiness.
Steadiness, calm, deliberateness, an unshakable presence. If a Taurus rising is running around frantic, trying to be high energy because they read a book that said leaders should be high energy and charismatic, people lose trust.
It feels chaotic.
It does.
Okay.
People want the Taurus to be the rock. They want them to move slowly. They want to lean on them.
Okay, what about a Gemini rising?
Trust through communication, wit, information flow, curiosity.
So if they're quiet?
If a Gemini rising sits silently and tries to be mysterious or stoic like a Scorpio or a Capricorn, people get suspicious. Think, what are they hiding? Why aren't they talking? They want the flow of data. They trust the Gemini who is talking, asking questions, connecting dots.
And Scorpio rising.
Trust through depth and intensity. They need to look you in the eye. They need to seem like they know a secret. They need to hold the space.
So that they're too bubbly.
If a Scorpio rising tries to be a superficial, bubbly cheerleader, hey guys, everything is great, let's just have fun, it feels wrong. It feels as a lie. People instinctively back away. They feel like they're being played.
The consequence of ignoring this first trust mechanism is exhausting.
It is.
You are constantly repairing first impressions. You spend the first 20 minutes of every meeting digging yourself out of a hole you didn't know you fell into.
It's like driving with a parking brake on. You can move, but the engine is screaming. You are burning fuel just to stay still.
And that is the definition of burnout.
It is.
There is a specific group of people the source mentions, the accidental leaders. This really caught my eye. Leo, Capricorn, and Aries rising.
The power trio. These are the signs that structurally the world associates with authority.
Yeah. Why are they accidental leaders?
Because often the person inside the sun sign might be shy. Maybe they are a Virgo sun or a Libra sun who just wants to collaborate or stay in the background or just do their work and go home.
They don't crave the spotlight.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But they have this Leo cap or Aries rising.
So they walk in, and everyone looks at them to take charge.
The geometry of the room orients around them. It's physical. The Leo rising has a natural magnetism. Eyes go to them. They shine. The Capricorn rising has a natural authority. They look like the dad or mom of the room, the responsible one.
And the Aries rising.
The Aries rising has a natural initiative. They look like the first one into battle.
And the struggle comes when they try to resist it. When they say, no, I'm not the boss.
Yes. When these ascendants try to be humble or invisible or just one of the team, life pushes them forward uncomfortably.
What does that look like?
A crisis happens and everyone turns to the Capricorn rising and says, fix it. If the Capricorn rising says, oh no, I'm just an intern, don't look at me, the situation gets worse. The room gets anxious, people get annoyed. Why aren't you stepping up?
The fix is to just accept it.
Success is smoother when they accept visibility rather than resisting it. It's not arrogance, it's fulfilling the function of the interface. You put on the captain's hat because that's the uniform you were issued.
You steer the ship.
And it's actually less work to lead than to spend all your energy explaining why you shouldn't be leading.
That is a profound shift. It is less work to lead. I think many of us assume leadership is the most work.
Right.
But if you are fighting the current, swimming upstream is the work. Floating with the current of authority might actually be the rest.
Precisely. You stop fighting gravity. You just let the water carry you.
I want to move to career confusion, because this is where the rubber meets the road for a lot of listeners. That feeling of, I don't know what I'm good at, or I don't know where I belong.
This is an epidemic.
Yeah.
And usually, we diagnose it as a skills gap. I need to go back to grad school. I need to learn coding. I need to get an MBA.
We add more weight to the interior.
But the source reframes this as, I am trying to succeed through the wrong ascendant channel.
It gives some examples of mismatches. A Libra rising in a hyper-competitive environment.
Libra is the sign of balance, harmony, and relationship. It's ruled by Venus. A Libra rising needs to charm, to mediate, to connect. That is their door. That is how they succeed.
Okay.
If you drop them into a boiler room sales floor where it's kill or be killed, where aggression is the only currency,
they will wither.
They will wither.
Yeah.
Not because they can't sell, they might be brilliant salespeople, but because the method of aggression violates their interface. They can't open their door with a sledgehammer, they need to open it with a handshake.
And if the environment forbids the handshake,
They are locked out.
or a Pisces rising in a rigid system.
Pisces is fluid. It's the ocean. It's intuition. If you put a Pisces rising in a job that requires rigid, military-grade adherence to checkboxes with zero room for intuition, they will burn out.
Even if they're smart enough to do the work.
Even then, they are misplaced. Their door is welded shut.
And Aquarius rising suffocated by tradition.
Aquarius needs to disrupt. They need to do it differently. They are the inventors, the aliens. If they are in an environment that says, we do it this way because we've always done it this way, the Aquarius rising will feel like they are dying.
They'll become rebellious or depressed.
Exactly. They need the freedom to reinvent the wheel.
The validation here is so important. The text says, these people aren't broken, they are misplaced.
It's an ecosystem issue.
Yeah.
You don't blame a cactus for failing to thrive in a rainforest.
No.
You don't yell at the cactus, grow leaves, be wetter, why are you so prickly? You move the cactus. Or at the very least, you create a dry patch for it.
This leads to the triad of sustainability. I think this was the most practical framework in the whole text, the 3 pillars of sustainable success. If we want to fix this, what do we need?
Yes. If you want to build a life that doesn't burn you out, you need 3 things aligned. It's a formula.
Number 1, the ascendant.
A role the world understands.
Yeah.
This is the door. You need to be in a position where your natural first impression is an asset, not a liability.
A place where your key works.
Where your natural way of greeting the world is welcomed. Yes.
Number 2, the sun.
Motivation that feels authentic. This is the inside. Once you get through the door, the work you are doing must actually light you up. If you have the right door but an empty room, if you're a great salesman for your ascendant but you hate the product for your sun, that's hollow.
You'll get rich, but you'll be miserable.
That is the classic midlife crisis.
And number 3, the moon.
Emotional recovery that feels safe. The moon represents what you need to feel nourished. How you recharge. What do you need when you close the door and lock it? Do you need silence? Do you need friends? Do you need food? Do you need to run a marathon?
So let's synthesize this. When all 3 align,
effort decreases. You enter through the ascendant, which is easy entry. You do the work of the sun, which is authentic motivation. You rest according to the moon, which is deep recovery. That is a sustainable engine.
a perpetual motion machine.
It can feel that way.
But when one is missing, what happens then?
Well, if the ascendant is missing, you can't get in. You're banging on the door. It's pure frustration. That's the struggling artist.
Okay.
If the sun is missing, you get in, but you're bored. You're just playing a role. It's golden handcuffs. That's the successful executive who hates their life. And if the moon is missing, you get in, you do the work, and then you crash and burn because you aren't refilling the tank. That is the nervous breakdown.
Success feels fragile.
Exactly. It feels like one bad day will ruin everything. It feels like you are walking on a tightrope.
This brings us towards our conclusion. The source material asks us to really rethink what it means to enter life.
Entering life correctly. That's the phrase. It reiterates that using the ascendant isn't about changing yourself. It's not about plastic surgery for the soul.
It's about accepting the shape of your container.
It is.
Most struggle comes from trying to enter through a locked door.
Or trying to be a window. Or a chimney. Just use the door. It's right there. It has your name on it.
There is a final reframe in the text that I found really moving. It says, success is not about becoming louder, tougher, or new. Success is about standing where life already recognizes you.
That gives me chills, honestly. Standing where life already recognizes you. Yeah. Think about how much energy we spend waving our arms, saying, look at me over here. Look at how smart I am. Look at how funny I am. Look at me.
Right.
But life is looking at a specific spot, your ascendant, and saying, I have a role for you right here. If you stand here, I can give you everything. If you stand here, the spotlight is already on.
It's the path of least resistance, but in a spiritual sense, not the lazy path, the flow path.
When you stop fighting the ascendant, life stops pushing back. Yeah. The friction disappears. And suddenly, you have all this energy that was previously used for friction management, for apologizing, for explaining, for masking, for pushing available for actual creation.
For art, for love, for work.
That is the definition of flow.
It is effortless action.
It is.
So let's summarize this journey we've been on. We started with the problem of burnout, not as a lack of effort, but as a positional error. We moved from working harder to aligning better.
We looked at the ascendant not as a horoscope, but as a user interface, a doorway, a necessary mechanism for social physics.
We saw how the Virgo rising and Sagittarius rising can fail if they swap scripts. We saw how the soft sun needs the hard ascendant to protect it and create an entry point.
It's not a contradiction, it's a container.
It's the castle wall protecting the garden.
A beautiful way to put it. And we looked at the triad. Ascendant, sun, moon. The formula for sustainability.
The ultimate reminder here is that you don't need to earn your place in the world. I think that's the deepest wound for many of us. We think we have to earn it. We have to prove we deserve to be here.
We have to hustle for our worthiness.
Yes.
But you don't have to earn the door. The door was built when you were born. You just have to walk through it. It's waiting for you to turn a handle. It is your birthright.
And as the source says, astrology doesn't teach you how to change yourself. It teaches you where you already fit.
And when you stand there, success stops feeling like survival. It starts feeling like movement.
I love that. Stops feeling like survival. I think a lot of our listeners are in survival mode right now. And maybe the exit from survival mode isn't fighting harder, but just shifting your stance a few inches to the left.
Checking your posture. Checking your position. Are you blocking your own door? Are you pushing on a pull door?
So here is the provocative thought we want to leave you with today. It's something to mull over as you go about your week. The source didn't explicitly ask this, but it's the question that arises from the text.
We want you to look at where you are facing the most resistance in your life right now. Where does it feel like you are pushing a boulder uphill?
Is it a specific relationship, a specific project at work, a specific social circle?
And ask yourself this.
Are you forcing a door open when you could just walk through the one that's already assigned to you? Are you trying to enter the room as the person you want to be instead of entering as the person the world sees so that you can become the person you want to be?
It's a subtle difference.
Yeah.
But it's the difference between a locked door and an open one.
Thank you for joining us on this inner astrology deep dive. We hope this lowers the blood pressure a bit. We hope it gives you permission to stop pushing so hard against the wrong things.
We will.
Take care of yourselves. We'll see you in the next deep dive.